I once had a guy send back an omelette because there are eggs in it. Hi guys, welcome back to the Quora Zone. Today we'll be reading from what is the most meaningless complaint a customer has ever presented you with. And our next reader is from our next writer person is from Rachel Summers. I worked in a cafe. Once a lady came in to meet some friends who ordered lunch. She pulled some food out of her bag and started eating it. We don't normally allow that, but the friends were frequent and well-liked customers. And we weren't busy. So, okay, go for it. She brings a foil tray up to me to complain that the chicken wasn't cooked through. It wasn't our food, so not my problem. Maybe take it back to where you got it from? Apparently, that was a 5-minute drive away. Could I give her a refund or replace her meal? No. Happy to sell you something off the menu though. She went back to her friends who were chatizing her. They felt embarrassed as they were frequented at our cafe. They told her to stop making a scene, while she continued on about the dodgy food, terrible customer service, etc. Her friends walked out on her. Some may ask why I didn't offer to cook the chicken through. Well, I didn't know where she got it from. 5 minutes away is of no help. Had that container been sitting in a bag for 20 minutes or 2 days? If I had done something, even just finished cooking it, I or the cafe owner could have been held liable if something was untoward resulted. Better safe than sorry. Our next post is from Sarah Matthews. Once I was training a new cashier. It was her second or third day, but she was plugging right along. I was confident in her ability, so when I got pulled away for a moment to help another customer, I thought nothing of it. When I came back, the training cashier looked like she was going to cry, and a very stout, angry man was standing red-faced in front of her. This checker overcharged me, and I want her fired right now, he bellowed. I'm sorry, sir, I answered. May I see your receipt? He stuck his outstretched hand out, and I took his receipt. Looking over it, I saw that she did indeed scan something twice, then voided the scan immediately. At that time, voids were listed on the receipts, whereas the original scan and voided item would not show up. I put on my best customer service face. I see the problem, sir. She did accidentally get it twice, but she took it off, so you only charged once. I don't care. She's incompetent, and I want her fired. I lost the customer service face. With the confidence of job security of working close to a decade at this store, I raised my eyebrow. Let me get this straight, sir. You want this girl fired because she made a mistake that she corrected before you even noticed what happened. How many employees do you think we would have if everyone made an honest mistake that they corrected got canned? Of course that didn't go over well with him either, but at least he wasn't yelling at my trainee anymore. I called the shift manager before he even asked and continued scanning items until he got there. When my manager arrived, the man started yelling at him too and pointed to his receipt. The manager looked over the receipt and looked back at the man puzzled. I don't understand, sir. You weren't overcharged. What seems to be the problem? The guy threw his hands in the air and walked out the door with his groceries. I mean, if there is a problem, I'll fix it, but simple human error is not a problem. Oh, and that cashier is still working there to this date. Our next post is from Ron William. I've owned and operated my appliance business repair for 39 years. I work alone. No employees, only several of my other personalities. I have customers who will go to the laundromat if their washer or dryer isn't working, and wait till I get back rather than calling someone else because I have things done without charge for some of them. A woman calls who could have acted the part of a dumb blonde Karen without rehearsing. She called about her washer, and as often as I do, I discussed it with her. I don't mind helping some without going there and charging them. She asked me what might be wrong with her washer, and I suggested several things, and told her that I couldn't be certain without actually doing a hands-on diagnosis. She says, thanks, and we hang up. A month later, I get a summons to small claims court. Karen was suing me to recover the cost of the part and shipping she bought. She gets up there to do a Jerry Lewis routine and tells the judge that I told her a few things that might be wrong with her washer and that she wanted me to reimburse her for buying the wrong part from another place. The judge asked her if I came to her house to diagnose it, and if I said it is this part, she said no, but, said a mumble, and BS, lol. The judge asked, so you made a decision to buy this part on your own? Yes, but, mumble stutter. The judge asked me how much I charged for my time and how long I've been waiting in court. I told him an hour. He orders Karen to pay me for my time and her case is dismissed. The judge and I made eye contact, and I had to stifle a laughter. Our next post is from Kate Fried. When I first started freelancing, I also worked as a server at our breakfast restaurant. Towards the end of my shift, 3 p.m., a couple came in and ordered. He ordered the French toast. She ordered some pancakes and bacon. Fine, not a tricky order. We could squeeze it in before the kitchen closed. I punched in the order. The kitchen made it, and I delivered the food. In a few minutes, I returned to check on the table. The woman gave me a death look and pointed at the guy's French toast. "You don't like eggs," she said. "That toast is covered in eggs." My mouth flopped open. French toast is made with eggs. She just looked at me unrelenting. "Take it back. Get him some pancakes." I didn't argue because the customer is always right, even when they are not. I took back the French toast and the cooks were furious. They had already shut down the griddle and now had to fire it up again to make pancakes. I told my manager the situation and he shook his head and said, "When I was a server, I once had a guy send back an omelette because there are eggs in it. Human beings are doomed." Our next post is from James Maggi. I worked in a Walmart for just a shy of 3 years before I left retail. There were tons of stupid questions and complaints. However, there is one that sticks out in my head. Walmart actually has some good policies if they are followed correctly. One of these was never work off the clock, even so much as pick up a piece of garbage. My managers expected us to follow this. One day I was on lunch. I was off the clock. I had my name tag in my hand and was wearing street clothes. When a customer asked me to walk them all the way across the store and show them something, when I was not even 5 feet from the time clock, I told the customer in my best customer service voice, "I'm on lunch. If you could please give me 30 seconds to clock back in, I'll be right with you." This was apparently the wrong answer, and she stepped in front of the time clock to block my path and started yelling at me to show her where the item was at. I told her I couldn't. I would get into trouble if I didn't clock in first. This lady ended up making me clock in 10 minutes late, was screaming and yelling that I was abusing her and needed to be fired, and she went up front to customer service and complained to the manager. He told her that I did everything right and she was in the wrong and she needed to leave. She started screaming and yelling at him and eventually tried to slap my manager across the face. The cops ended up coming very quickly after that and she was charged. She could have stepped 2 feet to the side, let me swipe my badge, and I would have walked her to what she wanted. Instead, she ended up wasting over an hour of her time getting banned from every single Walmart in the United States and got charged for threatening, assaulting several people and walked out in handcuffs. Our next post is from William Elliott. My family used to own a street corner newsagents and tobacconist shop in England, what Americans might call a mum and pop store. Well, it was Christmas Day. Yes, we actually opened on Christmas Day to serve our customers. It was shortly before noon and a customer came in. He wanted to buy 100 Lambert and Butler cigarettes. These cigarettes at the time had the recommended retail price printed on the label for independent stores. Major retailers got their pack with no price printed on the label, so they could charge a penny or two less than the independent stores. The price on the label said £2.49. The customer flew into a rage saying Tesco's, a large supermarket chain, only charged £2.45. I said the price is marked on them by the manufacturer. "You fucking thief! Tesco's are cheaper!" As a note, Christmas Day almost all stores were closed in the area, and no Tesco's would be open. I rang up a no sale on the till and began to put the cigarettes back onto the shelf. "What are you doing?" he screams. "You can go to Tesco's to buy your cigarettes. You're not getting them from here." But, no. You can go to Tesco's. Tell them about how much you appreciate them opening Christmas Day. "You're giving up nearly £12 in sales." "No, I'm giving up 25 pence in profit, and there'll be plenty of opportunity to sell those cigarettes today. Next, please." By now, there was a line of about 9 or 10 people behind him. "But Tesco's are closed," he pleaded. "I know. Goodbye." He slunk away, and I don't know if he ever got some cigarettes at Christmas Day. Our next post is from Cassia Black. I once had a lady bringing in a Chipotle bowl she just bought, all mixed together with maybe 2 bites taken out of it. "I think the sour cream is spoiled," she says. "It tastes like milk gone bad." Oh boy, did I want to ask. "So it's sour?" There was nothing wrong with the sour cream. It's sour. That's how it's supposed to taste. Lady just didn't like sour cream. Don't know why she even got it. I know I lost a battle when I see one though. so I offered to make her re-bowl. If she'd eaten 2 more bites out of it, I wouldn't have. This time I left out the sour cream. Off she went, happy as a clam. Our next post is from Bitch Flavoured. I used to work at a sporting goods store in my early teens. It was my first job and I worked there up until I was about 17 years old. I was working on a Saturday and a woman comes in, demanding a refund for a faulty basketball jersey. Seems harmless enough, right? Our returns policy stated that we could only accept the return if the item was faulty or did not do what it was designed to do. If it wasn't faulty, we could only do an exchange. We did not do returns for a simple change of mind due to people wanting to return items that had only been used once or twice. People would return items like tennis rackets, baseball bats, shoes, hats, cricket gear, and the like after using them once. Anyway, I asked her the reason for the return. She said that it had a hole in it. I took the jersey from her hands and inspected it, but couldn't see any holes. I checked the front, back, and the sides. Nothing there. I asked her where the hole was, and in a huff she snatched it in front of me and holds it by the collar, turning it to show me the tag. There's a hole right here on the collar. I couldn't see any holes. I said as much, and she peels back the tag in annoyance and points to the spot just below the seam. Again, I can't see anything. She then asked to speak to a manager. Now, my manager was like an older uncle to me, so he would always give me grace and hardly side with the customer unless I made a genuine mistake. He asked what the issue is, and she grips the jersey by the collar again and flips the tag over to show him his apparent hole. He takes a look, and after a moment or two, he points to the smallest, tiniest little hole. I should note that these jerseys were made from a lightweight, semi-transparent, and breathable material with tiny holes throughout the fabric. Typical basketball jersey fabric. This hole was pretty much the same size, if not only slightly larger than the holes in the fabric, and was impossible to see it had not been pointed out. You mean this one? He asked, slightly bewildered. Yes, right there. It's a hole, and I want a refund. It's faulty and ruined. How can you expect my son to wear this? My boss audibly sighed and took over. He calmly explained that the hole was from the security tags that were pinned through the fabric. We were always told to put it just near the seam of the collar, not directly on it, as removing the tag could snag the stitching and pull it out. We were also instructed to put it at the collar as it was harder for thieves to cut it out had it been on the hem or side seam. He then went on to explain that the jersey was not ruined, nor was it faulty, and that she could only exchange it for a different one. But he did explain that the location of a security tag would have the same results as the current jersey. He also added that since the jersey was made of the lightweight fabric, that the hole was the same size as the pin of the security tag. She became irate, demanding why she couldn't return it. My boss explained that the jersey still functions as a jersey, and that no one would be able to see the hole unless they had a magnifying glass. I almost laughed, but caught myself. He offered an exchange one last time, and after some back and forth, she reluctantly agreed. A week later, head office called as she had filed a complaint against my boss, saying that he was rude, unhelpful, and dismissed her concerns. I was called to witness when he was questioned over the transaction and verified his story. We even took a photo of the jersey to show them, and the complaint was dismissed. Our next post is from Jess Lake. While in college, I worked the graveyard shift at a grocery chain. They had recently installed self-checkout scanners, and I spent most of the night helping people and rebalancing them. A middle-aged middle-class woman came through probably about 15 minutes till midnight and bought a handful of items. After she paid, she brought her receipt over to complain that she'd been overcharged for a bag of shredded cheese. After reviewing everything and listening to her insistence that it should have been $1 cheaper, I did a price check. Turns out she picked up the wrong size, the smaller bag was on sale, and I explained this and informed her that she could bring it back in the morning when the customer service was open and they would exchange it for the other size and give it the sale price. Oh no, she wanted a refund then and there. Despite me telling her that it wasn't possible, no one on night shift had an override key to avoid a sale, go figure. She started losing her shit and yelling. I called the night shift manager up, who repeated everything I had told her, including that she could correct it in the morning. Let me repeat, this entire dispute hinged on her view that she had been cheated out of $1. We finally talked her down and got her out of the store, but she was back 5 minutes later with a couple she had accosted in the parking lot and pressed ganged into backing her outrage. The men approached me with a lot of bluster, pointing out that we were clearly taking advantage of this poor woman, etc., etc., repeating the story she had spun them. When he paused to take a breath, I calmly and firmly told him exactly what the dispute was about, and that we had already explained how she could fix it. When he realized he'd been duped into the servings as a mouthpiece of this woman's ridiculous complaints, he turned several shades of red, apologized, and the couple rushed off, leaving her alone again. She finally left then, bellowing about how she had never been so mistreated, and she would tell everyone she knew not to come to our store. Alright guys, that is all for today from the Quora Zone. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about these stories from today, and if you want more stories like this next time.